Konami, it's time to change. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has more or less always had a high price tag, and hear me out, that doesn't forgive anything to do with recent circumstances. If I hear another person talk about Teledad format, I'm genuinely going to consider doing a life sentence. I'm kidding. Mostly, it really infuriates me, but let me say this, that's not an argument. That's not a point. You're not intelligent. You just sound like an idiot who's incredibly out of touch.
Can I get a cringe?
If you check the current prices over on Wigo Pro for the recent NAWCQ, the decks at the top 10 are around $900 to $1,000. Well, except for one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a hobby, a luxury you could say, and to some people that justifies a high price tag, but hear me out, no, just no.
Let me guess, bad vibes?
Just look at the OCG real quick. The way they print product allows for much cheaper cards. Compare this. In the TCG, Fiendsmith Engraver goes for about $110 at its cheapest price. In the OCG, it goes for about $40 at its cheapest price. Now, you might be saying, hey, Jet, that's still expensive. Yeah, I get you. But why is there such a price difference? It's because the OCG prints their cards in multiple rarities. In the OCG, the rarities are QCR, Secret, Ultimate, and Ultra Rare. If the card wasn't Tier 0 worthy, it wouldn't even be $40. Now this leads to some simple answers, right? 1. Stop short printing. 2. Print cards in multiple rarities, and 3, stop making Tier 0 decks, but here's some issues with that. Legality. The OCG can't legally print cards in any other way. If you want to contact your local government representative to get the laws changed, then by all means, do it. But that means it has to get done over the entire 50-something states of America. We're capable of that. So e.g., all you really have to do is send like letters to your local representative, by the way. That's all you really have to do is just keep sending letters to your local representative and say that you're getting basically ripped off of pieces of cardboard. Because, hey, when I open this, I should have a guaranteed chance of getting the card I want. And that's all you really have to do over and over and over again in every single state until the laws get changed. I'm not exactly sure how Europe did it, but that's basically the brass tacks of it. But realistically, how many of you are actually going to do that? I mean, heck, I'm just some random guy on the internet. Why would you listen to what I tell you to do? Right? So I'm going to leave this solution at a maybe. You can do it, it's completely up to you. Heck, Euro has harsher laws on short printing. They can't short print. So all we really need to do is get that pushed a little harder and we can get the exact same thing. Maybe it won't be the same as the OCG, but overall, having cards less short printed means the overall price of cards in America goes down. Out in the crowd, I hear someone screaming, "What about the secondary market, you piece of crap?" Frankly, no one cares. The secondary market is not an integral part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And even with this change, moving cards for like $40 is still completely fine. You can still make all of your money back. For Yu-Gi-Oh! To survive, boxes need to sell. That's all competitive decks need to do, and they already do that just fine.
But now I submit one, and you choose some grilled cheese spell card?
The current people making Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks just need to stop. Rather, it's one guy doing this, or it's a whole team that needs a full-on rehire, and obviously, I can't tell you which is worse if an entire team is coming up with what we currently have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because frankly, this amount of power creep can't go on forever.
Your designs rely too much on power alone. Times are changing, Franz.
Eventually, this will just hit a wall, and every deck will be amazing, problem being they will feel exactly the same to play anyway. Konami, you can't just keep printing broken cards and then, oh, ban most of them, rinse, repeat forever. Eventually, people will get sick of that. Or maybe they won't if the recent YCS numbers are anything to go off of. My point is, eventually most people are going to get sick of it because high cost plus just ban lists to kill decks equal a lot of money lost by a lot of people buying decks. Or selling them off before they get hit, which, hear me out, is really smart, but bloody annoying as a player. When I buy a deck, I like to keep it, just because it's nice to have. I don't want to spend this much money and then sell all that off because they're going to drop in price by about, I don't know, 80% because of the next reprint set. Talk about an unstable stock market. Yu-Gi-Oh cards are the worst things to invest into unless you're intelligent, unless you're incredibly quick, or you buy low and sell high like most of the people in this community. I once read something that goes like this: the average high school student in today's day and age has the same level of stress and anxiety as someone in an insane asylum in the 1980s. Me personally, I can't imagine the insane levels of stress and anxiety a Yu-Gi-Oh player has waiting for the optimal moment to move the current best deck. This entire thing to me screams Great Reset is coming. I'm talking about Noah and the Flood level in Yu-Gi-Oh! Except, you know, Konami's not God, and the only God is the one and only Jesus Christ. I personally think eventually we're going to be led to a rotation format and an eternal format, which is the format we currently have. But heck, who knows about that? If you want me to talk about that later, why not leave a comment? And while you're there, hit the subscribe button and the like button because you've made it this far anyway, and this is basically halfway through the video. Lastly,
the tournament winner takes the grand prize of $3 million.
The pricing in this game is beyond trash. Here is a Yu-Gi-Oh Pro with a bunch of Nintendo Switches that he got from pricing, just to run that home. Now, to be fair, here's a bunch of prize cards as well, which by all means do equal a lot of money, if people bought them. Look, the game in its current state needs a lot of work, but not just for pricing, but for everything. But pricing is a pretty big deal. Consider this: Konami, people travel to your events all over the country. Not just this country, but from other countries too. They have to pay for the flight, stay in hotels, get food around said areas, normally fast food, and that's expensive as heck for no reason. To play, that's maybe a few $1,000s, and on top of an already expensive deck. You see how these costs start adding up, right? Legitimately, rather Yu-Gi-Oh players are racking up unreasonable amounts of debt, or they just have really great jobs, which, again, even if that's the case, completely affects the amount of people that can go to events. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about that flight should be cheaper, food should be cheaper. I mean, hear me out. Even if Konami just had food at events, that would be great in and of itself. All I'm really saying is that people are spending all this money. They really should, if they win, get something, not just something, but a lot back on it. I think most people can afford a plane flight. I think most people can afford a hotel and some food. Heck, I think most people can do that, especially if they have the money to spend on a hobby. The deck itself should not be that expensive. $300 a max. Let's be honest. I think $300 is more than respectable for something. That's about as much as you spend on below a console. And if you're only spending that every couple of months, maybe even like what, a quarter of the year, maybe even 2 quarters of the year, that seems fine to me. The pricing at Yu-Gi-Oh should be good enough that if you sold it, you at least break even. That's like the bare minimum, Konami. If you're a pro, you should easily be making profit. Pat should have Lambos by now by the amount of prize cards he has. How about this, Konami? Cash prize for coming first, along with all of that BS. You can write it off on tax super easily. We know you have the money. We know you have the money. The amount boxes cost, we know you have the money. Seriously. Or how about this? Actually really rare items that people actually want. Why don't you make a completely new rarity that looks completely beautiful and you print staples in said rarity? That way, the winner of the entire event gets a playset worth upwards of tens of thousands of dollars because some guy out there is gonna want that playset because it's the only one-of-a-kind rarest copy of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, or Ghost Ogre, or Droll and Lockbird. But my point, exactly, if it was actually something playable in the game that people wanted and were going for, something rare that only that winner got, then that is a prize. And no, don't do, oh, well, the first place gets this, the second place gets the same card, but a lower. No. First place gets all the marbles and all the money. Second place should get something. I think like second place to like 10th place should at least break even. I think that's fair. I think that's completely fair, but that's more to do with everything costing so much instead of the prizing they're not getting back. Now, don't get me wrong. The prize cards have value. They're just not valuable enough. They're just normal monsters that no one gives a crap about. Oh, you won this YCS. Cool. Anyway, the prize should make me, someone who I tend to avoid big events because 1, I don't like crowds, and 2, playing that much Yu-Gi-Oh genuinely makes me consider lobotomy via a soup spoon. But with good prizing, I would genuinely probably go. I mean, I still want to go. It's tempered down by the amount I don't want to be in a crowd. The current people who do attend every single event, more or less, are rather YouTubers or people who are feeding their own egos because they have nothing else in their lives. You decide which one you are, person watching this video. Or both. No, I realize it. Y'all need Jesus. Now, what is the point of this video? I, and a lot of players, are sick and tired of the cost of this game. Heck, I personally can afford it, but internally, all my brain does is scream at me. You're spending how much on cardboard? Thanks for that. At some point, some of us are gonna start going, nah, stuff it, mate. It's not worth it. Konami, please change something. Please don't turn Yu-Gi-Oh! Into a collection that just sits at the back of our closets that we're gonna pull out when we're grandpas and show all these kids all these amazing things that we have. I don't want to see a video essay of the day afterwards of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Failed. Yeah, we really live in that day and age, huh? But why is Konami doing this? Konami is a business and it doesn't care about you. They want your money and probably have an entire department dedicated to what will get you to buy the boxes. That's probably an issue too. I guarantee the box that had SP and everything else in it was a major headache for the community. However, for the people on the other side, that was probably the most boxes sold in a short amount of time. Same thing goes for Infinite Forbidden. There are only two languages that companies actually understand: money and the law. Things they cannot ignore. And I'm gonna say it, because I'm genuinely sick of YouTubers making the pros are quitting video because genuinely no one gives a crap. Unironically, pros quitting does literally nothing unless it starts a movement, and the numbers on big events start dropping, or box sales start going down, which, let's be honest, it won't. In reality, that's just not gonna happen. Don't get me wrong, it sucks that people are leaving. It's more for them and their mental health for anything, because it will have zero to minor impact on the game. Regionals, YCS, NAWCQs, Konami in general. To most people, the pros are literally just marketing devices, and that's it. I'm sure there's people that work at Konami who are really nice, but it doesn't change the fact that an entire global corporation isn't going to be your friend. Now, this video hasn't gone much into the secondary market at all, and I won't because I actively engage in it, so commenting on it is kind of hypocritical. What I can say is that if we lost that way of making money from the game, I really couldn't care. Now, what can you do? Riot. Do something. If Konami won't change anything, we should at least bloody try. Cool. I don't care what you gotta do. Spam the Twitters, or X. I'm never saying that ever again. If nothing comes out of this, right? If you send all the letters, if you spam the emails, spam the Twitter, do what you gotta do at every single event on the survey thing they give out, the little thing that says, oh, how are we doing? Tell them every little detail that you hate about the game. Everyone does it. At least we can say we tried. While staring at our $1,000 meta decks at locals for the last time. Like, subscribe if you made it this far. Talk about this in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. And heck, I know I have a face. Crazy. I'm sure some of you guys didn't expect me to have a face in this video, but let's be honest. I have one. I didn't really have a choice in this face. This is the face I got. So I hope you guys can understand and accept my face for what it is. If you do, please comment down below you accept my face, and I'll tell you that I love your face right back. And heads up, I'll be making a best budget deck for this format soon. See ya.